All right, it looks like we are live. Hey everyone, I am Steve Montoya from MaxPreps.com, and we are taking over the CBS 13 Facebook page so we could talk some high school sports. Yes, that is what we do at Max Preps. We cover high school, and so our brothers and sisters over at CBS 13 asked us to talk about the top 5 football games in the Sac-Joaquin section coming up this week. But before we get to that, let's look at the top 25 teams right now currently in our computer rankings. You can see Elk Grove, Del Oro, Folsom, St. Mary's, and Central Catholic are the top 5 teams. Currently, you may be wondering, how is Folsom number 3 since they haven't lost to a Sac-Joaquin section team since 2011? Well, the season is still early, and Elk Grove and Del Oro definitely looked impressive in week 1, but these are just early rankings. A lot is going to change as we go on. So we want to hear about your top games, your top teams. Leave some comments below. We'll be sure to get back to you on that. But what we're here to do is talk about the top 5 games this week. So we're going to get it going with the number 3 team, Folsom. They're hosting Jesuit. Now, Folsom last week, they didn't slow down where they left off last year, excuse me. Their quarterback, Joe Curry, threw for 500 yards and 6 TDs. Their receiver, Drake Stallworth, he hauled in 10 catches for 246 yards and 4 TDs. Just an incredible performance there last week as they took on Coeur d'Alene from Idaho and won that game big, 55-13. Now they'll be hosting Jesuit. Jesuit coming off a big win as well over Granite Bay last week. Jesuit QB Calvin Braunholtz threw for a few TDs. Their big back, Lorenzo Burks, got going as well. And after the game, Jesuit was chanting that we want Folsom. Now, Jesuit and Folsom used to be in the same league, but get this, Folsom has beat Jesuit 7 straight times. All right, let's get to game number 2 as Napa will be on the road to take on Rocklin. This is number 12, Napa traveling to Rocklin. Rocklin now shown in the white, played Grant last week, and they were up for most of this game. Rocklin was up big, but Grant came back to actually end up winning this game 21-20. Now, Napa is coming off a 36-0 win over Casa Grande. Rocklin does not want to go to 0-2 because next week they'll be playing their rival Whitney. So Rocklin, again, was up against Grant, but they ended up losing it 21-20. Their quarterback, Michael Nolan, is definitely one player to watch for. All right, let's get to game number 3. Vacaville will be taking on Oak Ridge. Vacaville just outside the top 25 right now, but definitely could see them back in the top 25, especially if they go on the road and beat the boys from Oak Ridge. Vacaville last week knocked off Brentwood's Liberty 37-26. Daniel Wright had 150 yards rushing and 3 TDs. Now, Oak Ridge from El Dorado Hills, they were playing Vista del Lago last week in Folsom, and this game was close, but Oak Ridge exploded in the second half to win 50-8 TDs. Marco Boldacino, the quarterback from Oak Ridge, a junior, threw 3 TDs in that game. All right, we're seeing right here Whitney and Granite Bay. That's going to be our next game of the week. Number 8, Whitney at number 14, Granite Bay. Whitney was near perfect in all aspects of the game last week as they beat Davis 33-0. Their defense was just very impressive in this game. Davis had a few chances inside the red zone, but the Wildcats shut them down. Now, we talked about Granite Bay a little bit earlier as they fell to Jesuit in week 1. Their defense looked good. Offense stalled a little bit, so they'll be ready as Whitney comes to take them on. Granite Bay will head to San Jose in week 3 to play Oak Grove, so they want to get on in the winning column before they head on the road to San Jose. All right, game number 5. Number 9, Monterey Trail out of Elk Grove will head to Del Campo to play number 23. Now, Monterey Trail is a team on the rise as of late. They made the playoffs last year. Coach TJ Ewing has them playing good. Last week, Robert Holt, their quarterback, rushed for 3 TDs, and they got a big win, beating Santa Clara's Wilcox 40-14. So this should be a good match as they head to take on Coach Domino's Cougars in Del Campo. Del Campo beat a very good team in Merced 26-21. It was a real tight game, and Del Campo was able to pull that off. So we have 2 undefeated teams playing early, and that's game number 5 this week. Now, we have a few other top games that we're keeping an eye on as well. Those were just your 5 in-section games. We also have some out-of-section games that we're keeping an eye on as well. Speaking of that, Del Oro right here, they beat St. Paul 44-20 last week. Well, they're going to take on another team from out of the section in Pleasant Valley of Chico. Pleasant Valley went 12-1 last season, and you may recognize the name Pleasant Valley because that's the former school of now quarterback Aaron Rodgers. St. Mary's of Stockton is playing another out-of-section game as well. They looked very impressive last week. They went on the road to play Sarah High School, the former school of Tom Brady, and they won 63-35. Now, St. Mary's has another super tough game this week as well, as they will be hosting Cardinal Newman of Santa Rosa. So those are just some of the top games from around the section. Of course, there's huge games going on all across the area. Those are just a few to keep an eye on this week. The number 1 team right now in the Sac-Joaquin section is Elk Grove. They're actually off this week, but they got a big win beating Inderkum last week. All right, before we take off, we do want to bring up the top play from the Sac-Joaquin section this past week. Let's take a look at that right now. And it's actually Antelope's Elijah Dotson. He was up playing Nevada Union. Now watch this. He's going to face one defender coming off. He's going to throw him out of the way. Here comes a second defender out of my way. And finally, the third defender has no chance. We're going to see this one more time. We want to see your top plays. We'll be showing those off all year long. Use the hashtag #MPTopPlay. We'll send those over to our friends over at CBS 13 as well to get those on air, but you can see how great this run right here is. That's Elijah Dotson of Antelope High School. All right, we just hit on 7 of the top games in the section. Again, leave your comments below. We'll be sure to get to those. Give love to your school. All right, I'm Steve Montoya of Max Preps. We've been taking over the CBS 13 Facebook page to talk some high school football.